Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. And in this video I'm coming back at you with another spawn vid, and this time we're going to be talking about the treasure spawn that just came out with Mortal Son of Wrath, Donera. They're still coming out with the Mortal Sons, which is kind of funny considering they kind of came out with the 37 cost monster for the first time. But yeah, we got another Mortal Son out that is out now, and I'm not going to lie, this one's really looking super awesome. By looks, this would probably be in my top 10 favorite monsters, to be fairly honest. Though what looks weird on him, though, is looks like he can't even control half of his body, to be fairly honest. You look at the animation, it's just like he's trying to move his hand, make his hand do its little thing and what's not. But yeah, and then like half of his face is just like, part of it's just like, I didn't want this, and then the other part's like, let's do this, or something like that. So yeah. Anyways, moving on from there, let's actually get to the monster and the treasure spot. Okay, so we got, obviously it's a Mortal Son. It's gonna have Unison activation priority on. Then it's got a heal. The healing ability power is boosted by 5 for each skill increased level, so that's 60 ability power total. Removes damage or deflection, continuous healing, damage reduction effects from all enemies. Reduces HP recovery effects for all enemies by 40% for 60 seconds. Cast Kismet. Kismet pretty much flips their buffs into debuffs right away. Increase attack ability accuracy of all allies by 30% for 90 seconds. That's good for Starburst or if you have blind. And then cast Resurrection on allies, so it's an all resurrection casting monster. It increases fire seducing damage, the ability power right there. Then it casts Frenzy on your character for 60 seconds. Frenzy is like a kind of like a self-piercer on top of like nullifying debuffs and status alignments. Keep in mind, it'll nullify debuffs, but if you get buffs, they will be able to get removed. So you're not going to get any debuffs, but you can get buffs removed if they do have a removal buff system for the enemy, monster, or whatever you are fighting against. So keep that in mind. Okay, so moving on from there. This monster is, ironically, it's a Mortal Son with the Unison activation priority. You would expect it to be good in like stuff like Coliseum and guild battles. That is not the case for this monster. I mean, you can. This is a substitute for Madia if you don't have Madia, because it casts Resurrection. So if like somebody like use Madia and then you use this monster on top of it, I guess it can help because of the Resurrection be casted on like everybody. So technically you have a second shot at whatever you're doing with whatever you're doing. And yes, when you lose all your HP and then that Resurrection gets cast, you still keep your buffs. So yes, it's useful for that scenario, useful for that situation. Other than that, I personally think a second Madia would be a better choice than having Madia with this monster combo. I mean, it's a good substitute, but other than that, I can't really see it being used awfully too much for player versus player. And Frenzy as well. Other than that, again, I can't really see it be, well, Kismet as well. These can be used, but they're only going to be used for like, they're only going to be good for certain types of certain things during certain times and whatnot. And then it's got remove damage reflection, continuous healing, and damage reduction effects from all enemies. That is very nice. But keep in mind, it is a Unison priority monster, so it may or may not be completely useful against Madia, because remember, Madia is also used at activation priority. So this monster could go first or Madia could go first. And if this monster goes before the Madia on the enemy team, that's not a good thing, to be fairly honest. I personally would recommend a monster that does that without the Unison priority, so that way you can let Madia go first and then remove what Madia's got going on, to be fairly honest. This monster though is a good addition to player versus enemy, especially looking at its super united offenses, and it would be good also for like guild raids on top of it. You can use this in like regular missions and what's not. Definitely it casts Resurrection on all allies, and that itself alone is a very helpful ability, and it's got the Frenzy on top of it and what's not. But like when it comes to like HP recovery reduction, and then like the remove continuous healing, damage reduction, damage reflection effects from all enemies, you're going to be seeing that a lot more in super united offenses, and you're going to be seeing that a lot more like a guild raid. You're not going to be seeing that too much in just regular missions for player versus enemy. Even event missions are more likely to happen, right? And even event missions, it really depends. For the cost dragons probably, but we already went over the win ones, so there's no point in that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say about this monster. Is it's a good addition for player versus enemy, especially for like those multi-teamed things like Super United offenses and then guild raids. And it can be used in player versus player. Not the best throw, to be fairly honest, but it could be a nice combo with Mania as a substitute if you don't have a second Mania and what's not. But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say about this monster, besides its looks, because again, it looks pretty dang awesome as a monster. I mean, it's not exactly a monster. I mean, it's kind of got the monster concept. It still looks kind of human, to be fairly honest. Looks like a human with armor, but those wings are kind of monster-like, so that's very, very nice that they're adding somewhat of a monster concept. And it's not a female. We see too many females. You look over here, all females, all females, all females. This one's all females as well, female. So it's nice that we finally get a male monster returning back at us with kind of like a monster concept. Okay, so moving on from there, this is a treasure spot, so you're not going to be seeing much rates on the SSRs, let alone the monster itself. Is going to be near impossible to get from the chest. Well, not the chest, I meant to say the gear spot. Like when you're spotting the gear, it's going to be near impossible to get. And then we got the chest down here. Now keep in mind, the summoning scroll is going to have probably extremely low rates and what's so not. But at least, like, the medals they have in here are amazing. A-Team, I wish you could do this a lot more. It's going to make me cry looking at how much medals you can actually obtain within these, within this alone treasure spot. This is beautiful. Like, legitimately, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's got 1,000 in the jackpot, 600 in one of the side chests, and then 400 in one of the side chests. That is beautiful. Oh my god. But in exchange, they don't offer much of the exchange medal rewards. Unless you're after this stuff for cosmetics, I don't really recommend it. You can grab some of this dark stuff though. It's a bit outdated, but the light dragon will be coming out, and same for the time dragon, that is 40 cost. So if you're interested in that, you could definitely do that if you would like to be fairly honest. But other than that, I mean, the only purpose I would see even doing the treasure medal exchange for is to get the scroll. The scroll's at 10k. It's going to be a lot easier since they make medals a lot more easier to obtain within here. But yeah, that's pretty much the rundown and what's to not for this treasure spot. Easy medals, not much in the item exchange. And then you're not going to be able to obtain it through the gear spot. You might be able to obtain through the jackpot, but the chances of obtaining it through the jackpot are extremely low. So I don't recommend anybody ever doing this. Just trying to hit the jackpot and get the summoning scroll out of there, because honestly, a lot more than a lot less, you're going to be walking away empty-handed, legitimately. Like, if you get a summoning scroll, you're really lucky, to be fairly honest. It's not something that can be easily obtained through one jackpot, so please don't think that way. And keep in mind, for all you new players, that this is going to be pay to win. So you're going to be using a lot of gems, a couple hundred gems, before you even get 10k medals to even get the summoning scroll in the first place. And yes, a majority of the people that will be spawning this for the summoning scroll will have to get to 10k medals. They will not obtain the summoning scroll within the jackpot. Let's go over the monster one last time. The monster is a great addition for player versus enemy, especially Super United offenses and guild raids. Can be used in player versus player. If you have a Mania, this could be a substitute combo. Other than that, I can't really see it being a good choice in player versus player. This is good for player versus enemy because of Frenzy, nullifies debuffs and status alignments, and it's got Piercer, but sadly it's only for your character, but that's a very, very nice addition. It casts Resurrection on all allies. When you're dealing with player versus enemy, dealing with a really tough mission, it's nice to have Resurrection in rotation. And I'm not just talking about a monster that casts Resurrection on yourself, I'm talking about a monster that casts Resurrection on all allies. So that's very, very nice as well. And then for like Super United offenses and guild raids, reduce HP recovery effects of all enemies by 40%, and then it's got the remove damage reflection, continuous healing, and damage reduction effects from all enemies. This can be used in regular missions for player versus player, but you will see this a lot more useful in like those, like just like what I said, Super United offenses and guild raid. Remember Athena, Fire Athena in guild raids? Oh man, she was annoying. If you can manage to even reduce her HP healing recovery effects, this isn't a status alignment, so she can't get rid of this. She absolutely can't get rid of this. That's the benefit to this. Like, some of you might be like, oh, Curse would be a better choice. Curse is a status alignment. This is not a status alignment. If this gets cast, this is going to stay out here for the full 60 seconds. But anyways, moving on from there, if you can even manage to reduce it by 40%, like her healing effects, that is going to be phenomenally helpful, because her healing is absolutely annoying. I agree with you on there. It is really annoying, to be fairly honest. And then that removes damage reflection, damage reduction, and other damage nullifying effects, or whatever it says. Is very nice, because you're going to be dealing with monsters, not just Athena for this one, but you're going to be dealing with multiple monsters that have that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out. This is the AzureWrath, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.